Hey, it's a Scotch Test Dummies. We got Macallan, 15-year-old fine oak.
Ooh, fine oak. 15. I always want to say 12.
That's a good one.
It's a great one.
Let's test it.
Test it! I'm a little sick.
Let's roll with that one.
That's it.
I think we're all a little sick, at least in
I know.
Wichita.
Woo! Everybody's got some chest stuff
Everybody's
going
got
around.
something.
Yeah.
I've been fighting it since Christmas Day. So,
Yeah, I've got, on occasion, I'll have like a Barry White voice. I can go real deep. I got to go deep like that. Does that sound good to you?
I like it. I was thinking Scotch God shout out, but I don't have one.
We didn't pull one up, so let's just
Nope.
move on by. We've had some great comments. Hey, I could give you, well, no, I can't actually. I was going to give you a funny one from the board game deal, but I can't. I'll show it to you later.
Okay.
Some dude ripped on me big time. I
Oh.
love the rippers. Go for it.
Coin 183.
Woo! Mine's 185.
Now, we did
185.
Macallan Classic Cut.
Yes.
A version of a cast strength Macallan come out. They use seasoned sherry oak casks.
Seasoning.
If you want to learn history and factual facts, do you watch us?
Factual facts? No. Maybe
Sometimes we
actual facts.
improvise.
No.
There's other reviewers out there that
Much
do a
better.
good job.
We're about the juice.
We want to review. We want to tell you this is Macallan 15 Fine Oak. Is it good or not?
Right.
Sometimes we make mistakes and get things wrong.
Sometimes. We're the dumbest.
I don't know that we got anything wrong with the Macallan Classic Cut, but we actually got an email from Rachel,
Right.
a representative of Macallan, and they said we love the Classic Cut review.
Right.
Here's some actual information on our sherry casks.
Here's the real deal. Maybe you could use this.
Yeah. So anyway, she goes through her initial email. She gives us some pointers on the casks that they use. Maybe I'll hit a couple of them here.
Yeah, bullet points. Bullet points.
She says we would love to send you a bottle of the 15 Fine Oak.
Dummies. And we were like, yeah,
Yep.
sure.
At
So-
that. And I said, you send us that and we will give you a review of that as well.
Right.
And we will bring up these talking points on the sherry casks, but we also do live streams.
Mhm.
And would you like to come on a live stream and discuss
Right.
Macallan and the sherry casks?
That's kind of one of our 2018s is to bring on more folks from inside the whiskey industry. We
Sure.
still want to keep up with all the whiskey fabric.
Yeah, we still want to do, podcasters, bloggers,
Right.
vloggers,
Yep.
fans,
Did you say bloggers?
vloggers,
Floggers?
vloggers with a V.
For a second
Bloggers
there, I
and
thought you
vloggers.
wanted a flogger. I'm like, that's a whole nother show. We don't want floggers on.
So anyway, Rachel says we would love to set you up with Nicholas, one of our brand ambassadors, and try to arrange a live stream. So
Yes.
we are trying to get that up and running. Emails are going back and forth. So
Can I mention something before you get into the facts?
Okay.
I want to do a feel instead of a fact. The Macallan, all models, their bottle shape is like tailor-made for your hand when you grip it from the side. Have you noticed this?
I had not noticed that. No.
Not a grip here.
Right.
Side grip, it's like hand in glove. And it just, boom, and it displays the name while it's being poured. It's got to be by design. Somebody's a genius. Try that out. Everybody home
I
now
see
is
what you're
grabbing
saying.
it. Yeah, do you feel
Actually,
it?
if I was pouring for the camera,
Right.
it would be like this.
yes. Now that, and I'm like, is this by design? But it feels good in my hand when I'm pouring it.
It does.
When I was sampling it, I was like, huh, it's like hand in glove. Sorry. So that's a dummy fact. Now let's get an actual bulleted point.
I will point out
in.
Macallan is one of my favorites. Sherried whiskeys, sherried scotches are one of my favorites. Macallan does a fine job, does a great job with sherry casks.
Right.
So
If you put the blooper in at the end, there may be a blooper at the end. I love the Macallan 12. It's a standard. I've got it at all times. I feel it feels kind of like a sweet cherry bomb whenever I try it, and so I've always kept it around. And even when we entered into this, I knew what it was, and I'm like, Macallan 12, and I just said it, and you're like, dummy. And then we had to restart. We had to restart it.
Yeah.
But that's I think they've got a great line here.
Okay, so regarding the classic cut, one of the bullet points we got from Rachel, The whiskey, or for the classic cut and all Macallan, sherry oak, and double cask, and 2 of the 3 cask types in fine oak, which we'll talk about the 3 cask types here. The whiskey is in the sherry casks for the entirety of the maturation process, which I love. I love whiskeys that have been exclusively matured in sherry casks.
Right.
Macallan crafts their own sherry casks. They air dry the oak for 2 years and then fill them to the top with dry Oloroso sherry in Jerez, Spain, to season for around 18 months. That was with the classic cut. We noticed that they use seasoned casks.
I want to go out there and see that.
Okay, me too.
Same. I want to see the seasoning. The
entire process from harvesting the tree to filling the sherry cask with Macallan new make spirit to start maturation is 5 to 6 years. A long, expensive process, and that's why sherry casks are 10 times more expensive than ex-bourbon casks. Macallan owns up to 90% of all the new sherry casks used in Scotch whiskey industry each year.
Wow. Probably because of that Mac 12.
Yeah. Well, their whole line.
Oh yeah, good point. What am I saying?
Macallan. The last point here, and this isn't very dummy-like.
No. This first of all, I'm intrigued, and although I'm 6'6", some of it is like over my head in complexity.
We're bringing some education as well.
I'm like, they season them?
Macallan uses 80% first fill casks.
Okay.
I.e., the cask is only used once to mature Macallan whiskey. As the first time you use a cask to mature whiskey, it allows the whiskey to draw out more flavor and character during maturation.
Yeah, from the wood.
It also allows more color extraction, which is why Macallan is also 100% natural color. We don't add any artificial caramel coloring like the majority of other distilleries.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're with a bourbon, you've always got virgin oak casks, and the wood really imparts into the bourbon. And I'm not a super heavy wood fan. You know that with kind of why I lean toward ryes over bourbons.
Okay, so Macallan 12 is exclusively matured in sherry Oloroso casks. The 12 double cask is matured in European oak and American oak sherry casks.
Right. I believe European oak brings like some cinnamons and some...
European oak is the darker. The American oak, when they use it, brings a sweeter sherry. But, so the fine oak is kind of a triple casking.
I got a good description in here. Yeah.
This is kind of a triple casking. They do European oak, American oak, and ex-bourbon cask.
America.
So that ex-bourbon cask is going to tame down some of the sherry notes and should bring in more vanillas and caramels. Right?
Yep. The imparting of the bourbon.
So this is bottled at 43% ABV.
All right. I've got a great note.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I sampled this a few days before Christmas of 2017. My first note, my cold is in the chest, by the way, so my nose is still good, was what I love here. I've got rising bread brushed with sugared butter, honey, and vanilla. Because I get that grain note from that rising bread. And then I put vanillas continue to sweeten up as you nose.
The nose is very aromatic to me. And boy, it jumps right out to you, almost like the edition number 3. Remember how aromatic it was? I get a nice floral citrus sweetness.
What is the ABV?
43%. Right. I get oranges, pineapple,
really,
a light sherry, and vanilla.
Yeah. See, I'm not getting the sherry. I don't get the plum raisin.
Light. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm searching for that pineapple. And I see what you're saying. I get a little bit of a citrus kind of in there. I don't know. For me, I would say pineapple, but I see what you're saying. I love you can really dive your nose down in here too. The nosing is subtle, but man, when I first nosed this, that's exactly rising bread brushed with sugared butter, honey, and vanilla. It was like, I need to make that mixture and brush that on baking bread. Go for it.
Creamy, smooth deliciousness is my first note. Vanilla cream, slight sweet sherry notes, berries, grapes, nutmeg, and cinnamon.
Oh, wow. Again, great notes here, and I'm getting it now. My voice is starting to waver. Oak to sherry to dry vanilla stick was the transition I get. The vanilla lingers in the finish even now. It also reminds me, and I didn't know what to call these, so I said it reminds me of those homemade twice baked wafer crisp things.
Homemade baked wafer crisp things.
Yeah, I think my grandmother used to make them. I was probably 7. So they were the crisp, homemade crisp, double baked things.
Is that like those little vanilla wafers that you
It's
buy
not
in the
quite
box?
It's not like a vanilla wafer. It's almost more like it's got the shape of like a waffle cone kind of thing. And they were these little crisps, but she would put stuff between them. I don't know what it was, some kind of chocolate, and then she would kind of bake them. And I put on here, the further note was like a cornbread grain with a happy beer thrown, a hoppy beer, a hoppy beer thrown in. And that is, when I get a hoppiness, that's kind of that floral, floral beer note, kind of. Yeah.
A little bit of graham cracker, cinnamon graham cracker.
I think that's where I get the wafer crisp as well. I agree. Yeah, hoppy beer thrown in right at the end.
This, because of that triple casking in that bourbon cask, this is not the traditional Macallan 12 rich sherry exclusive maturing, or even the Macallan 18 years of exclusive maturation.
Right. Because you're getting those bourbon vanilla notes, a lot of the oaky, I think that oaky richness that's coming in, the grain. It really was a very nice holiday Christmas dram, though. As I was leading into Christmas, because I don't have any of these baked goods here. I think that was all Grandma when we were at her house. So it really took me back to those youthful days. 89 is mine.
Now I go, okay, I'm not, you know how I was disappointed in this?
I did not know.
Because I love Macallan.
Right.
And I keep waiting for them to disappoint me and put out something that doesn't hit my palate.
So you were actually...
This didn't do that. I thought, okay, it's the 15 fine oak. It's been in bourbon cask. There's not going to be too much sherry.
Hold on.
We haven't had it.
So the disappointment was that you were hoping this one would disappoint.
I want Macallan to disappoint me and put out something that doesn't hit my palate.
And it didn't disappoint.
Because I haven't had a Macallan that doesn't. I've had the 12. I've done the 12 double cask. I've had the 18. The classic cut.
Right.
Now this. The editions 2 and 3. Love them all.
Right. Yeah, we haven't had the 1. The edition 1 we haven't.
And people are going to be like,
I bet
you just love Macallan.
Yeah, you do drive that truck with the big Macallan logo on it. If anybody knows, that goes way back to the Wild Turkey thing in an early show. Where I
just thought, well, maybe this will be the one that I not necessarily as favorable. You know, I don't like. No, I love it. From the nose to the palate.
It's got some of those dry wine flavors that kind of linger in the mid palate and on the finish. I
got a little bit of a grape, almost like a white grape instead of a dark grape or something. Traveling Dummies. Now, do we want to talk, is it worth it? This bottle was sent to us.
It is a review bottle. Do you want me to add in that we always reserve full editorial control?
Sure.
Good. I'll add that in.
Might have to.
Yeah, what does it go for?
Generally $120 to $130. Right before Christmas or at Christmas time, a couple of shops here in town had it for $89. Yeah.
Worth it at $89. When we get up into the hundreds, I'm buying something heavily peated. Just letting you know. I'm the peat head. It's delicious. I lean a little bit away from the drier whiskeys. I don't mind the sweet. Love the peat. But that's my only deal. So, I mean, yeah, you know. They need to put out a peated Macallan. Have they ever? I don't think so. Just once. So. Just once. Do this craziness. Edition 4. Peathead.
All right, let's do a traveling dummy I got from Instagram. Mead Mule. And you know, we might as well give him his Patreon shout out because he recently became a Patreon supporter.
Yes. What at the dollar?
Let me find out real quick because I don't have that.
Because we'll shout it, especially for Raster, if it's above $1. But on that note, while I was looking that up, we've had several folks come onto Patreon over the last week. I think it was in response to the New Year's Eve show we did with Aquavitae. Go check out his channel. Roy from Glasgow, Scotland. A lot of people came in after that show. Roy had pointed out that he was spending so many hours watching the Dummies, more than he was watching Netflix or whatever other services he had. And he thought, you know what, I'm not, and it's all for free. Now, the show will always be free. But if you want to be a Super Scotch God and help us with the show, please go check us out on Patreon at scotchtestdummies.com. You can do $1 a month. Some people have been saying, oh, how come it's per show? Well, you can do $1 per show at a max of $1 a month. So it's the same thing. Now, ideally, hopefully, and there's some little bonuses for you when you hit certain benchmarks along the way. But if you just wanted to do it,
well, we've had a couple questions come up. What you have to do if you want to do that on Patreon is you put in $1 per show, and then you click continue.
Yes.
And then on the next screen, it'll ask you if you want to cap it, how much you want to do per month.
And then you cap it.
You can put 100 in there.
Yeah, cap it at 100.
You can put you can put $1 in there.
We usually do between 8 to 12-ish shows a month.
Well, and since we're on that, let's give Mead Mule as a $1 supporter. Thank you, Mead Mule.
Mead Mule.
But just like we were just talking about, $1 a show, max $1 a month, is Nate Lawson. Just came in and did that.
Just did that exact thing.
Yep.
And that's his mention. We also mention your name on the show. If you do $2, we shout it with vigor. Vigor.
Much vigor.
We shout it so loud that it messes with Raster and he has to put earplugs in because he'll spill his dram.
Let's go back.
Go back.
Reel it in.
Reel it.
Reel it in.
Reeling it back.
Back to the Traveling Dummies, which is what we started with.
Thank you.
With Mead Mule.
Mead.
We got the coin at the Philadelphia Eagles game. And it was just a couple weekends ago. Or no, it was Christmas night, matter of fact. He's at the Eagles game. I'm not sure which end zone he's off of, but he's holding the coin up. Of course, we'll put the picture up there. Coin 238.
Wow. In the end zone. See, that's a traveling dummy right there. Now I feel like we were virtually at the Eagles game on Christmas. It's night out. Wow. Looks like somebody's about ready to get a touchdown. Can't tell who. Who were they playing?
And I don't remember. It doesn't say. I remember the game. It was a rough one. Foles was in at quarterback because what's his butt blew out his ACL.
What's his butt blew out his ACL? That needs to be quoted.
Doing really good. Good and good luck to the Eagles. I hope they do well in the playoffs. They should.
Blew out his ACL. At some point in time, maybe in a couple of years, I'll tell the story about me chasing after a shoplifter. Citizen's arrest. How about that? A couple of years from now.
Okay.
It didn't end well. I didn't blow out the ACL.
Macallan 15 Fine Oak.
Scotch It. You Scotch gods.
Cilantro.
Dummies. Hey, it's the Scotch Test Dummies. We're coming to you with the Macallan 12, but it's a special 15. Mother. You go.
I was just going to keep rolling.
You go. I knew it was a 15.
Like really, the Macallan 12.
15. I love the Macallan 12. That's why it comes to mind.